places in this world where the silence is too still and the darkness feels very much alive. So let's dive in one of those places. My name is Viktor Corvin, and this is the Afterveil. Tonight we're gonna dive into the Native American folklore, the Navajo folklore. We're gonna talk about a creature very unsettling, borderline disgusting. The Skinwalker. But since you're here, I guess you're into that, so let's dive in. The Navajo people told warnings about beings who had turned away from their natural order. But even that is just a shadow of the truth. What Skinwalkers are, what they can do, it's not something the outsiders are meant to fully understand. Which is the reason why the Navajo people are pretty reluctant in sharing that information, and for good reason. In Navajo tradition, the subject is sacred, spoken of carefully, avoided at night. But one thing is very clear. A skinwalker is not simply a shapeshifter. It is someone who chose to become something twisted. Someone who took the forbidden path for power, and in doing so, they lost their humanity. They can take the shape of animals, like a coyote, a wolf, an owl, anything that walks or flies in the night. But the shape they choose is never perfect. There's always something off. Eyes too human, limbs too long, movements wrong in ways the mind tries to rationalize and fails. Drivers on lonely desert highways often report the same thing. It stands too tall, or its legs bent wrong, or its face doesn't move like an animal's, but more like a person's. Some drivers say the thing follows them with its eyes. Some say it runs alongside their car, keeping pace at impossible speed, not galloping like a four-legged creature, but running upright. One trucker described seeing a figure hunched in the middle of the road. He slowed down, thinking it was a person in distress. But we all know the story. We've heard that tune before. It's never a person in distress. As the headlights hit it, the figure rose all at once. No stagger, no natural movement, just a sudden, violent unfolding of limbs, as if it has been waiting for him to get close enough. The trucker didn't stop. No one ever stops when they see such a thing. Out there, the desert stretches so far into the darkness that if something were to call your name, you wouldn't be sure if it came from the outside of the truck or from the empty seat next to you. Ranchers speak quietly about nights when the animals panic without reason. When horses refuse to enter their barns, when dogs growl in the corners where nothing should be, when cattle stand facing the same direction as if something, some unseen thing, moves just beyond the fences. Other rancher recounted walking to the sound of the footsteps on her roof. Heavy, deliberate, pacing. She stepped outside with a flashlight, its beams slicing through the night. Nothing. But in the dirt around her home, she found tracks. Not paw prints, not boot prints. Something in between. Too big to belong to any animal she knew. Too deformed to belong to any person. By morning, the prints had changed. As if whatever made them was still deciding which shape it preferred. Modern folklore is filled with stories of skinwalkers mimicking voices. But one of the most unsettling accounts comes from a family living near the edge of the reservation land. Late one night, the mother heard her teenage son calling for her from outside. Mom! He sounded scared, panicked. Mom! She rushed to the back door. But before opening it, she glanced into the living room. Her son was on the couch, headphones on, unaware. The voice outside called again, louder this time. Mom! It sounded a bit off.
Mom!
Like who tried to mimic her son's voice was struggling to maintain the tone and the pitch. When she finally looked out the window, she saw an animal standing there. A coyote, or to be more specific, something trying to depict a coyote, and something about its face was off. Like an abomination, an unholy blend of animal with human traits. After noticing it was being looked upon, it stood tall, its neck extended upward, unnaturally, straining towards the window. And though its mouth never moved, her son's voice sounded identical this time, only trembling. She said it didn't blink, it just stared. The Skinwalkers are spoken of with fear not just because they change shape, but because of the belief that acknowledging one gives it power. In modern accounts, people who claim to have seen Skinwalkers often describe a strange aftermath, unexplained knocking on windows, shadows that move against the direction of the light, animals refusing to come near them, dreams of running on all four limbs through a landscape they don't recognize. Most dismiss it as fear, imagination, the tricks of a lonely desert night. But in Navajo belief, things that are spoken of too often, they have a way of drawing closer. The American desert holds its secrets well, but every now and then, someone sees something that they cannot explain. Something that walks like a man, but isn't a man. Something that watches with eyes of a predator. Wearing a face borrowed, Skinwalkers belong to a world older than highways and fences. Some say they're just stories, but the Navajo, they know better. My name is Viktor Corvin. And if the creepy, mysterious, and the macabre speak to you, the Afterveil is the place that you're looking for. Now, speaking of creatures of folklore, do consider watching the previous episode where we get in depth regarding the kuntilanak, a spirit from the Indonesian and Malaysian folklore, stitched together by sorrow, longing, and the ache of something unfinished. At the same time, I invite you into the comment section and let me know what else would you like to see in the Afterveil. Keep your lanterns lit. Until next time.